What in the world just happened? What is going on, y'all? 5 Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA. And boy, do I have some breaking news for you guys. And this is about as breaking as it gets because I'm literally making the video for you guys as soon as the news broke. And that is Russell Westbrook being traded to the Houston Rockets, okay, for Chris Paul. So Chris Paul is going to the Oklahoma City Thunder along with a number of draft picks, which I will get into in just a second. And Russell Westbrook heads to the Houston Rockets, folks. I'm bringing you guys the news as soon as it broke. And that is why you should, of course, subscribe to the channel. So if you're new, make sure to go ahead and subscribe by hitting the button down below and turn on my post notifications because you don't want to miss out on my daily uploads. I do post daily videos, so you don't want to miss out. Follow me on my social media links down below and on the screen as well. With that being said, we got a lot to talk about, so let's not wait any longer. Let's break down this trade, this monstrous trade, this gargantuan trade, the trade that nobody expected to happen. Let's talk about it. So, even though we did not expect this move for the Oklahoma City Thunder to trade with the Houston Rockets, we did expect a trade, okay? We knew that Russell Westbrook was going to get traded, was going to get moved. I made multiple videos about it. And the reason why is because we know that they traded away Paul George to the Los Angeles Clippers, and that signified that they were ready to rebuild. And obviously, you have to move Russell Westbrook at that point if you're trying to rebuild. Fine. You pick a direction, stick with the good. Now, as far as trading to the Houston Rockets, I'll get into the full trade details here shortly. But we were hearing about teams like Detroit, like Miami. Those were my two heavy favorites. Houston was a little bit talked about, but it was more so with bringing Russell Westbrook on with Chris Paul and James Harden, not trading him for Chris Paul. So speaking of that, let's get into the full trade details here that I've got in front of me. So Russell Westbrook to the Houston Rockets, and the Houston Rockets, very simple, they get Russ. What do the Oklahoma City Thunder get? They get Chris Paul, a 2024 and a 2026 first-round pick. I believe both of those are unprotected. And pick swaps in 2021 and 2025. So those are the full trade details, again, right in front of you. And I'm going to start with the OKC side of things and then move over to Houston. Okay, for the Oklahoma City Thunder, how do I feel about this trade? Right off the bat, just my raw analysis on this, I don't like it, okay? And here's why. To me, the picks are good. They're fine. And it looks like they're trying to get a treasure chest of draft picks with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've got probably like, you know, the combined with the Clippers picks, with these picks and their own, I mean, they've got, you know, the most first-round picks out of any team in the league by far. Fine. But when you trade Russell Westbrook, a guy who's in his prime, a superstar of, you know, some caliber. I'm not the biggest fan of Russ, but he is a star. Let's just say he is a star for sure. In his prime, okay, in his physical peak, you are trying to get as much out of that as possible. Now, you never usually get as much equal in return for a superstar, for a star, but you try to do as much as you can. Anthony Davis, perfect example. Superstar in his prime. I thought the Pelicans did very well in the return value for AD. I thought they got enough equity. I thought they got enough draft picks. I thought they did very well, and I made a video about that, and I said I like the trade. Here, you got the draft picks. Where are the young assets? Because you traded for Chris Paul. What's the point of Chris Paul on the team? He is obviously not a part of any sort of long-term plan here. So what are you doing with Chris Paul? He's got 3 years left on his contract. Unless you have another, you know, third team waiting in the wings to acquire CP3, are you going to buy him out? I mean, that's a large contract to buy out. That doesn't seem feasible. So the first-round picks are great. But where are the young assets, okay? And to me, that is what would have been more important here. I would rather have an expiring contract for the Oklahoma City Thunder than Chris Paul right now. I'm being honest. And you could have gotten that from the Pistons. You could have gotten that from the Heat. Where are the expiring contracts? Where are the young assets? Get a young player or two. With Miami, it would have been Justice Winslow. It would have been Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro. From the Pistons, you could have gotten Luke Kennard. Something. Give me something. Chris Paul? You getting Chris Paul back? I mean, that matches salaries to make the trade work, but essentially Chris Paul's a throw-in here because you want the draft picks. And I get it, draft picks are nice, but we're talking about Russell Westbrook here in the sense of a star in his prime. get as much as you can out of it. Now, the only thing I will say is maybe the market for Russell Westbrook was drier than I thought, and maybe this was the best out there, but that's hard for me to believe. I would have absolutely tried to get a young star out of it. I believe just trading for CP3 is somewhat of a fail for Sam Presti and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'll be very honest with you. Now, let's switch over to the Houston side of things, and let's talk about the return here. And I'm just going to say this starting off the bat. I don't like it for Houston either. So, again, this is actually a lose-lose situation, and I'll tell you why. For the Houston Rockets, okay? And I'll preface this by saying this. Unless there was more to the Chris Paul, James Harden beef that we were led on, as in they obviously can't stand each other now. They want to get traded. One of them asked for a trade. Unless that's there, I don't like it. And I'll tell you why. Because with Daryl Morey and the Houston Rockets, this is Daryl Morey at it again, trying to get a start, trying to acquire guys. He tried to get Jimmy Butler as well. This was not the right time. Kevin Durant just left the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors were the team that you were trying to get over the hump, You remember when, the Bulls were trying to get over the Pistons? Every year they would get eliminated by them 88, 89, 90, and then they finally got over the hump. This was the year that Houston could have done it. No Kevin Durant. The last 2 years, they've been knocking you out. KD was on the team. Now, I get it. In Game 6, you lost without KD. But he played the majority of the series, and you lost, okay? So to me, this was the time to go ahead and try one more time with this group, okay? Wide open Western Conference, wide open NBA in general, and now you want to trade away Chris Paul and James Harden when you finally have that opportunity to go for it. I'm not a big fan of that. I think they should have stuck with it, should have stuck with CP3. Let's talk about the basketball fit here, because everyone thinks just because, James Harden and Russell Westbrook played on the same team at one time in OKC that it can work again. Folks, these are two of the biggest usage players in the league, okay? James Harden's not the same player he once was. Russell Westbrook dang sure is not the same player he once was. And one basketball just might not be enough. I don't like the fit here. Russell Westbrook, unless he becomes a pass-first point guard, overnight, this is going to be very difficult. James Harden might have to play point guard at this point. Russell Westbrook might have to move over to the 2. James Harden's a better playmaker and a better passer than Russell Westbrook is. So to me, basketball-wise, I don't really see the fit. I don't even care about the picks that they give up at this point. It's just like, why? Just go for it one more time. Okay, just one more time. And does this really make your team better? I don't think so. So to me, I don't like it for the Rockets. I don't like it for the Thunder. I think it's a lose-lose for both teams. It's just a nice trade and a big name, trade for us fans out here. But to me, I'm not a big fan of this trade for either side. Let me know what you guys think about it. Do you like this move for the Thunder? Do you like it for the Rockets? I don't like it for either team. I think the Thunder should have gotten more young assets, and I think the Rockets should have given it one more go. So there you have it, folks. Those are my thoughts. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree by giving this video a big thumbs up. Please make sure to subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.